Today, I'm going to tell you about a horrifying tragedy that unfolded in one of nature's darkest corners, Wind Cave. 3 friends came together to explore the mysterious underground world. But a split-second mistake turned their adventure into a terrifying nightmare. Caves enchant with their beauty, but they are unforgiving. Watch closely, because this story is truly chilling. Viewer discretion is advised. The date was July 22, 2014. Located in Black Hills National Park, South Dakota, USA, Wind Cave is one of the world's most complex cave systems. Famous for its over 240 kilometers of mapped passages, this limestone cave is known for its crystal, boxwork, formations, and narrow tunnels. A section called the Rainbow Passage is particularly risky. With its slippery floors and sharp rocks, 3 friends gathered to explore this cave. Marek, 24, a nature enthusiast but inexperienced in caving. Kasia, 22, a nature-loving woman and Marek's sister. Jarek, 25, an adventure seeker but reckless. The team was equipped with basic gear: helmets, headlamps, some water, and snacks. But they had no backup lights or protective clothing. Marek checked his headlamp and said, "It'll just be a few hours of exploration." Kasia asked, "Are you sure?" "This place looks dangerous." But Jarek brushed it off, saying, "Don't worry, it'll be awesome," and led the way. Around 6:00 p.m., they reached the cave's entrance. Outside, the air was cool, but inside, the cave held a constant 11°C damp and cold. The first few hundred meters were filled with wide chambers and narrow corridors. The team marveled at the crystal formations. Kasia said, "This place is incredible," but there was unease in her voice. The group decided to venture deeper to reach the Rainbow Passage. Marek said, "This section has amazing crystals, but we need to be careful." Kasia warned, "The floor might be slippery." "Let's go slowly." Jarek, speeding up, replied, "Come on, don't worry so much." Contrary to its name, the Rainbow Passage was treacherous. The floor was wet and slick. The limestone formations were sharp and menacing. The team moved cautiously, using hands and feet to brace against the walls as they climbed. But at one point, the passage narrowed and led to an upward-sloping section. Kasia led the way, her hands and legs spread, gripping the rocks. At 22, she was agile but inexperienced, relying solely on instinct. Then, it happened in an instant. Kasia's boots slipped on a wet, slanted rock. "I'm falling," she screamed, but there was no time to react. Her arms flailed in the darkness, her legs splaying uncontrollably. As she slid downward, a sharp limestone protrusion jutted upward like a blade. Kasia crashed onto it with her full weight. Her lower abdomen and pelvic region struck the outcrop. A wet, sickening sound echoed, followed by a piercing scream that filled the tunnel. Kasia collapsed onto the protrusion, gasping for breath. The sharp rock had torn through her lower abdomen and pelvic area, shredding her vaginal tissues. The pain was unbearable, like her insides were being sliced by a knife. Blood began seeping through her clothes, warm and sticky. Marek and Jarek rushed to her side. In the light of their headlamps, they saw a horrific sight. Kasia's torn tissues exposed, blood flowing rapidly. "Kasia, hold on." Marek shouted, but Kasia's breathing was ragged. Shock was overtaking her body. She trembled, her pulse weakening. The cave's cold accelerated hypothermia. Jarek yelled, "We need to get help," and raced toward the entrance. Marek stayed with Kasia, trying to wrap her in a sleeping bag, but every movement intensified her pain. "It hurts. Please. Stop," she moaned, her voice fading. Her consciousness flickered in the darkness. Hours later, Jarek reached the entrance and called 911. "My friend's injured. She's bleeding out. Come quick," he pleaded. The Black Hills rescue team sprang into action, but reaching the cave's depths was grueling. They navigated narrow passages and slippery floors. At 11 p.m., they reached Kasia. She was still alive, but her condition was critical. Her breathing was shallow, her skin ice cold, her lips purple. Shock and blood loss were driving her organs toward failure. The team administered 4 fluids and bandaged her wounds, but they had to move her. They placed her on a stretcher, but navigating the tight tunnels was tortuous. Every movement felt like it was tearing Kasia apart. "It hurts. Stop," she whispered, her voice barely audible. At 4 a.m., after a 10-hour effort, Kasia was brought out. She was rushed to an ambulance, but it was too late by the time they reached the hospital. Blood loss and shock had caused organ failure. Kasia passed away. When Kasia's lifeless body arrived at the hospital, Marek and Jarek broke down in tears. They clung to each other, but the void inside them couldn't be filled. Kasia's death changed the two friends' lives forever. Marek never returned to a cave. Jarek continued hiking, but Kasia's screams echoed in his ears with every step. This tragedy shows how merciless nature can be. Caving can be an incredible adventure, but it carries deadly risks. If you love exploring nature, please always be prepared and never take risks. If stories like this move you, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll be back with another test of nature in the next video.